Take care then, and thanks for nothing.
I heard you could use a helping hand at the forge.
I could. My last two hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. What do they call you?
Henry.
I'm Radovan. You should know, Henry. The blacksmithing isn't for everyone. Have you done it before?
Yeah. I basically grew up in the forge. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, Semin. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge. Go over to the anvil and let's get started.
Greetings to you.
Get started then. Get to it. I want to see how you'll fare. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up a bit by bit. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. It works the bellows. Be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? It's the color of straw, which is what you want. And you heated the whole thing up. Nicely done. Now you can go straight to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. Could you hurry it up a bit? That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Oh, Jesus, it has to be even! Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway. It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. Besides the sparks, you can tell a good strike by the sound it makes. That's the ring you want. Sparks. That's the stuff.
游戏
Sparks. That's the stuff. struck. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. Sparks are flying nicely. Sparks. That's the stuff. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking. Right. Let's have a look. Well, I've seen better blades, but it's not complete rubbish. I could give you a chance. Even so, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
What good does it do me to whistle while I work?
It makes you work to a rhythm. You won't get tired so quickly, and the iron feels it.
How do I know a good strike from a bad one?
By the sparks that fly up, and by the ring. It rings out with a different sound when you do it right.
What's the right way to heat up the workpiece?
Do it till it turns the color of straw. Ideally, the color should be the same everywhere, if your forging's going to be even. The main thing is, don't work it cold. You just ruin it. But don't overheat it either. As soon as sparks start to fly off it in the furnace, take it out.
Why should I forge evenly?
If you keep hammering the same spot, you'll never finish it. You'll just fuck it up. But jumping from one end to the other ain't a good idea neither. You'd end up working unevenly. The best thing to do is aim each strike next to the one before.
How will I know it's finished?
Notice the shape. The closer you are to finishing, the more precise the shape it will have.
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed. And there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
Where can I get materials?
You can buy some essentials from me. But if you want to make a fancy sword with lots of ornamentation, you'll have to look elsewhere. This is just a village, you know. The locals ain't after luxury. They can't afford it neither.
What can I do with the items I've forged?
Well, you can sell them. Though you probably won't have much luck around here. But I'll happily buy some of the nicer things from you.
Where exactly is my bed?
At the side of the house. There are 2 doors and a wheelbarrow between them. You go in by the rear door, next to the woodshed, and you can put your things in the chest there. Don't worry, nobody'll steal them.
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right. Here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. and some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't gonna help me?
Sakura, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work.
Not bad at all. Excellent. Next time it'll be even better.
God bless you.
Today's a scorcher.
You said you have some more interesting work for me. What would that be?
It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semine, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up, and especially the cargo. Go to Semine and find out what the bloody hell happened.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Semine that can take a cart. It leads from Takov to Troskovitz, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Semine.
Those two hands of yours, Venser and Franzi, what can you tell me about them?
Can't tell you much. They're wandering laborers. I don't think they wanted to stay here with me for long, but these days I can use all the help I can get.
Were they suspicious in any way?
No, they worked hard. They ain't no slackers. And I can't say that about everyone.
What was the cart carrying?
Bugger and bollocks. All sorts of stuff. I'd say Lord Semine wants to rearm his garrison with new equipment. There were some hunting swords, bastard swords, crossbow bolts. I also fixed the trigger on young Semine's crossbow. And some kitchen stuff. Sacks of charcoal, all sorts of things. There's a good month's work in that cartload.
All right. I'll get right on it then.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk, kick their asses for me.
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them. Can I ask you about that cart?
What is it you need to know?
All right. I'm on my way.
Time's wasting. Run along.
I heard you could teach me something.
Yeah, all right. But it will cost you. What are you interested in?
I'm still not really sure of myself in the forge. Could you show me again how it's done?
Why not? Better to practice now than fuck up an order. Why don't you forge me another hunting sword? Have you got what you need?
Yeah, I have.
Let's see what you can do then. furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up bit by bit, poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above it. Give it a pull. It works the bellows. Try it out. See? It's the color of straw, which is what you want. And you heated the whole thing up. Nicely done. Now you can go straight to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway. It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. It's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. The ring you want.
Hey.
Sparks are flying nicely. The ring you want. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. That's some nice whistling. It's easier to forge to a rhythm, isn't it? Keep on whistling. Make sure you keep up the tempo. Very nice. I see you know how to keep on rhythm. That's the ring you want. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking.
An ale, as usual.
I need something that'll put animals to sleep. Project said you might know something.
Did you get tired of blacksmithing and take up farming instead? I just happen to know of something. I used a concoction that will put even a startled mare to sleep in no time. I once accidentally drank some and slept for 3 days. But the recipe is an old blacksmith's secret. The kind you don't just give away. You're in the trade, so I can tell you. Listen up then. You take some poppy and thistle and boil them in oil. Then, after it cools off, you add a little herb Paris.
That doesn't sound too complicated. Thank you.
Exactly. And that's not all.
well. I fell asleep during the sermon.
Hail.
The sermon happy.
I've heard you dye your own fabric.
I used to. I tried a few times, but I had to give it up. Troskowitz is on a hill, and there's not enough water for that. Why'd you ask?
I'd like to buy some pigment.
I see. Well, perhaps I could find some leftover black. If you have enough groschen, it's yours.
Ah, damn. That's more money than I thought. Look, I don't need much. Just a bit will do.
Is that so? What do you want it for, anyway?
Nothing important, really.
All right, whatever. But I'd hate to find out you painted on someone's house. You know what? If I scraped off some of that dried pigment from the edges of the bucket and mixed it with some lard, that could work. Those pigments are a magical thing, eh?
What do you mean?
For example, if you need blue, you can use blueberries or woad leaves. You put them in hot water with the fabric and it'll turn blue. Walnuts good too. With the husks of unripe walnuts, you can get a very nice light brown, sometimes even yellow. The best way to make red is from madder root. And when you add alum or beeswing to the water, the colour gets a beautifully rich shade. Or you could just use plain old black elder. The berries, of course. But they're more for lighter shades. Oh, and privet's not too bad either. If you use its bark and alum, you get yellow. You can even use the leaves. They make a nice green. But it takes forever. But you know what's my favourite way of making yellow? Using dyer's broom or weld. You take a few nice stems, some leaves, a bit of alum, and you get yellow, as bright as a chick's feathers. And for so much cheaper than using saffron or iris, that's the main thing. Buckthorn makes a nice green, maybe the best of all. You use its fruit. They say it can also heal, but I've never tried that. The most important part is the stain, anyway. Like alum, for example. It can create all sorts of shades and give depth and richness to the colour. But even that won't help you if you don't know what to use for what colour. Sometimes you want the fruit, sometimes the bark, sometimes the root, or maybe the leaves. Too bad I don't dye fabric much anymore. But I see you're really into it. You know what? Take some of it, for free.
My word. Thank you so much.
Oh, not worth mentioning. Just be careful not to stain yourself. Quality material like this doesn't wash off easily.
See you soon, my friend. Good to see you.
Cheers. I hope you have an uneventful shift.
Nowhere. I made it myself.
You? Don't lie. Where would you have learned how to do that?
You think it's hard? Planning a few planks of wood and nailing them together? Get hold of some wood and I... Come over. I'll be happy to help.
You think you could manage some kind of ornament? I always fancied those chairs with hearts carved out of them.
Christ. Are you sure you don't want me to fit out your entire heart room?
Welcome. You can buy everything you need from me, but excuse the selection. A few days ago, when I was returning with new goods, the horse got spooked, and my wagon tipped into the pond. I salvaged some things, but the rest is now in the pond.
And where did the wagon tip?
On the roads near the Katchak pond, beyond Jellyov. You can still find it there. I can't tell you how much it still pisses me off. But what can I do?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Me too. But what can I do? So, what will it be?
I wanted to ask you, what's on the other side of that nearest hill? I'm not from here, and I'd like to get my bearings. You look like a merchant to me, so you probably know best.
Ja, natürlich, you're not from here. Everyone around here knows that, after what happened in Betty's Tavern. Aber das ist deine Sache. That is your business, lad. Also, what do you want to know?
Where can I find a church round here? I'm surprised you don't even have a small chapel in the village.
If you want. Die Rettung deiner Seele, junger Mann. You have to go through the forest to Aujetz and to St. Catharinen. Herr von Berger does have a chapel in his castle, but it's not for commoners like you. We do not go there either. Und warum auch? The gravedigger Ignatius takes care of burials outside the village, and weddings usually take place without a local priest. No one wants to pay the church more than they have to. Das ist ja wohl klar. Oh, natürlich. There are plenty of tradesmen here who sell their goods. There is Bartosz, the tailor. He lives at the other end of the village. The apothecary, Emmerich, lives across from me. They are hand in glove, or more like hat in hat.
What do you mean by that?
Nichts weiter. Just that they play at being educated men. Along with the scribe Geibel, they are always studying some Latin tracts. But of the three, perhaps only Geibel knows Latin, if he really does at all.
Is there anyone else here?
Oh ja. Beyond the tailor's house on the edge of the village is where Bashka the butcher lives. Opposite the Rathaus is the carpenter. The rest of the villagers are just peasants, and you are already familiar with the tavern.
Where do you go for wares? What's the closest town?
The closest is Sobotka, the biggest Gichin, what you call Gichin. And further north there is Turnov. Half of that one belongs to Herr von Bergo.
Is it far?
Das kommt darauf an. It takes all day on foot. Wenn du was brauchst, the goods I have here will have to do you. I do not think you will get to the town anytime soon.
Is there anything I should avoid around here?
Certainly. Stirring up trouble and sticking your nose into other people's business. Here in the village, we don't care much for outsiders. If any do come, they better behave.
I understand that. but we were ambushed by bandits. So I wanted to ask if you know anything about that.
Ach so, ich verstehe. The woods have been full of all manner of rubble recently. That is all because of the war. Verdammte Schurken.
So you've already heard about these bandits?
About those ones in particular, or about others? They are all just gleichen Scheißkerle. Every time I go to the town, the bailiff must send an armed escort with me. It makes life difficult.
So the roads aren't safe?
Ja, das kann man wohl sagen. Herr von Bergo should do something about it at last. But Herr Otto spends more time in Prague than here. And Chamberlain Ulrich... Ach, lassen wir das. Bis bald, mein Freund.
Go and whistle somewhere else.
God bless.
God be with you. Keep the peace and we'll stay friends.
God be with you. How's the watch going?
Not bad. So far.